This one might be a bit of a rant. I think it's gonna be some sort of rant. Feeling kind of ranty. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it'll be funsy onesies. So, I've been listening to Duncan Trussell, and I forgot the name of the host, but I haven't listened to... I never really listened to Duncan Trussell that much, but I haven't listened to him since my Joe Rogan days, which are like way back in the day. And he's sitting there describing the sort of post-industrial era which we're in right now. And he was talking about the concept that as things become more automated, and they are, and he also brought up Uber driving, which I don't have anymore because Uber did something silly, or someone did something silly, I don't know what it is, but they said that the background check was something wrong with it. And so I tried calling and finding out, and I didn't get any help. So I'm fully reliant on Lyft only for income for now. And I'm not saying, oh, there's nothing else I can do. There's no possible way I could find other work that pays money. I'm not saying that. I don't know what I'm saying, actually, aside from that. I'm having to think a little bit about the possibility that, well, if one of them disappeared, then possibly this one can too. And I don't know for sure that Uber is gone. I might call back and try to extract out of one of the robot phone answering people, wherever they are, try to extract out like why the background is having issues. I might try that, but it's brought me to this point where I have to consider what will happen if I lose rideshare. And the main reason I'm doing rideshare, it's in line with what Duncan was talking about, is that in the sort of backwards world where everything is pretend, for a sort of person who doesn't want to be pretending all the time to make money, you have to find some oddball sort of work where you're not sitting there looking at the clock all day. You're not trying to hit deadlines and try to get the promotion, try to get the goal, try to get the thing, try to save the world, or try to expand infinitely economic-wise and try to use up all the reasons. You're not necessarily wanting to do that. Maybe you just would like to be able to sit down and have a meal, right? Pleasant meal. Grow some plants in the garden. So I'm considering all of this while I'm listening to Duncan Trussell talk about it. And he's talking about Uber, and he's talking about automation, and he's saying even that's going to be gone. They're making self-driving cars. And it's Orwellian. Orwell talked about it too, the whole automation thing. And when can the society break from the concept that everybody must be doing something in order to... Everybody must be doing work, which is defined, well defined, and it has to involve this thing called money, which is well broken. How does a person earn the right to eat, so to speak, without being a part of that system that doesn't even apply? It just doesn't apply to the world that we're in now. The industrial age economic mind is not the same as the fully automated, almost everything economic mind. So he's talking about, you know, he mentioned a book. I forgot the name of the book, but he talked about this guy that wrote a book that was saying the people in the jobs, like the corporation, you know, runners, the ones who manage the corporations, are running out of things, meaningful things to tell their employees to do. Like, but they need to, you know, they need to survive with money, so they have to keep, and, you know, money somehow comes from employees working. So they have to keep this person busy somehow. And being that it's not like meaningful anymore, maybe it's half meaningful and half like shuffling papers around or shuffling numbers around. The person that's working the job is having to fake. They're having to, you know, fake smile. What if they don't feel like smiling? Well, the job description requires that customer service makes the customer feel happy, so therefore you must smile even though you don't want to. So it kind of goes in line with this sort of image-oriented society. And that's what they described later on in the conversation as, that's the persona, that's the, you consider what you are as this body. You got hands, you know, you got thoughts, you have emotions. The persona is the mind remembered data point set that you've accumulated as a human being. It's memory. So it has people, you know, wanting to be, not wanting to be, but necessitated to be constantly living in the memory and upholding that image that has been created of themselves. And it hurts. It's painful to do that all the time. It's painful to think, like, to feel that it's scary to live in your own present moment, which is where all of your life is. Right? But that's what this sort of system has people doing. It has people, like, scared to be present. And the present is the only thing that there is. You can't even be out of the present. That's like the sad, ironic part about it, is that even when you're sitting in your mind, like going through these combinations and permutations of mind, and you're going back to the past and you're rearranging those and then putting that out into the future, like, you're still doing that in the present moment. It's just that now your mind is like out there, and Duncan described it as like, you're a whale. There's an ocean of like memories and accumulations and persona, the cloak that we wear over our being. There's an ocean, and it's a constant up and down, and depending on how you are as a whale, maybe you love like just sitting on the top of the ocean and, you know, throwing water through your blowhole at seagulls or something. Maybe that's what you like to do, and then maybe at that point you'd be present more of the time, because the top of the ocean that's the present, right? Now all of the shit that you've accumulated as a being over maybe one or maybe countless lifetimes, or who knows, but if the ocean is all that, then to go back with the idea of being present being scary or somehow forbidden, or, you know, strongly cautioned against, because it's don't go there for whatever reason, right? People think maybe, well, if I you know, broach the surface and shoot water at seagulls through my blowhole, then maybe like the ocean's gonna disappear. And I can't ever get back to all of my memories. I can't get back to all these fears. Some people are scared that they're gonna lose the fears. Like, the fears are gonna just go away. Scared to lose the fear. But Muji says the same thing. Because it's scary. It is actually scary if you've never done it very much. If you're going up to the surface, to where your present is, the memories or the ocean do not go away. They're still there. It's just that you're not carrying the ocean on your shoulders, you know? Maybe when you're underneath, maybe the further you go down into those, the pressure gets more and more, and you're carrying the whole ocean on your shoulders. You're carrying the whole world. And you don't have to. That's why the present is the present. It's a gift. So that you don't have to be inside of all of that accumulations that humans or beings or whatever have done over countless eons of time. You don't have to do that. You can just be here. And it's fine. Your ocean is still there. Your memories are still there. They didn't go anywhere. And, you know, you can go dive under there and stay there all your life if you want. It's an option that's available to you, just like honking when you roll over speed bumps. It's the same thing. You can stay present, you cannot. Or you can do any combination. You can make a wave pattern. You can just do like a dolphin thing, like flip in and out. Make some sort of weird dolphin noise as a whale. You can do whatever you want. Anyway, so what I'm exploring is currently is how this situation with me and with money is going to play out, because like all the people doing all their jobs for money that they don't like, I also don't really like doing this. I don't like having to sit inside of a car for 8+ hours a day while still not really being able to save money, you know. Lived out of the car for 2 years in order to do the money cartwheels, in order to pay for Jackson's things, in order to keep food inside of my belly, in order to this and that. And like, that's acceptable somehow in this society. Andrea said that she heard somebody say somewhere, somehow, that 30% of Americans were living out of their car, something. And I don't know if that percentage means anything at all. If 1% of Americans were living out of their car, then it shouldn't be acceptable as a society. Like, we should take care of our people, right? All the homeless people in San Francisco, like, it's some sort of thing where the ego thing, the selfish thing, the need for all of this encryption and protection. And I just dropped this girl off, pretty girl, very pretty. I picked her up in like the ritzy part of San Francisco, so like Lombard Street, kind of by the near the Bay Bridge. I mean, near the Golden Gate Bridge. And I picked her up, and I didn't say anything because, you know, I'm sitting here wallowing in my own sort of self-created angst about money. Self-created, other-created, I don't know. It's there, so I'm sitting here thinking about this, and also, to add to this little potpourri of fun, I needed to take a shit, and the car doesn't fit inside of the porta potty. I can't take the car in the porta potty with me. And so I had to leave the car somewhere. So I left the car in a parking spot that is a restricted parking spot. So I got one of these lovely things. I've never had one exactly like this. This is a special kind. And it doesn't even say anywhere on there how much money I owe this person. And the person didn't even talk to me. Just like, I don't even know who he's giving this to. He gave it to the car. Like, is the car gonna do something with it? Like, he sat it underneath the windshield wiper. He didn't even give it to me. So I was parked in a place that says you need a permit. Now, I'm well aware that San Francisco meter maids have a liking for running around, rolling around, and putting these papers on the cars. And I know that they do that. And I've gotten many of them when I started doing this. I got lots and lots of them. And I didn't like it. Any one of the times that I got it, did I like it? Not once was I like, woohoo! You know, it's not the most fun thing ever. So the thing, the parking spot says, like, special yacht owner people are allowed to park cars here, and everybody else is not. And if you violate this sort of thing that we've set up here with words, then you will pay us money. Now, the ironic thing is that these spots are never even filled. Like, half of the spots that are restricted are empty, always. So in terms of like actual demand for the parking spots, and the spots that are further away, which everybody's allowed to park in, are almost always full. It's just that I needed to take a shit and I didn't want to walk very far, and I've parked in this restricted spot plenty of times, like, you know. So I established the sort of idea that maybe these meter maid people were not watching these particular special access parking spots. But I was wrong. And, you know, this is the first ticket I've gotten in, I don't know, 5 months, something like that. So it's okay, you know? I'll pay it, or I'll fight it. I'll say, I might try fighting it and just say the car wouldn't fit inside of the porta potty. And I didn't have any time, like, I had some, you know, some violent stomach gurglings going on, so the car did not fit in the porta potty. And I had to park there, though otherwise I would have shit my pants, and then I should be able to bill them for, like, had I done that, for causing me the embarrassment and frustration of shitting my pants because I couldn't reach the porta potty in time and the car wouldn't fit. Theoretically, you should be able to do that, but that type of behavior is not, you know, I don't know, maybe I will do it, who knows. Anyway. So I'm sitting here pondering about making money. Somehow, all I want is that if we must do this thing of filling up like a theoretical bank with electrons called dollars, if this is if this is a necessity, then like what? Like the bank is like a sieve or something. It's like it has holes in it. There's just leaking all the time. Like, and the thing's always threatening to go to zero, and negative numbers aren't allowed. Like, no. You know, they should be allowed because that's what the whole money system is debt is negative numbers. So like theoretically your bank account should be able to go to negative and you're still operating somehow, right? But no, we set the fake precedent that zero is the actual sort of stop point and it can't go negative. So everybody freak out if your bank, your theoretical bank holding electrons says zero. Anyway, I told you this was going to be a rant, okay? So I'm sitting here thinking how... I don't mind rideshare. I'm not saying I hate it. I have good conversations. But I'm sitting on my ass all day. I like moving around. Like, I like working out. I like going for runs, you know? It's bad for my back. My back gets cramps and stuff. And it's repetitive. Like, it's just... what if I don't want to be in my car all day? So... I don't want to be in my car all day. And it might get taken away somehow anyway. Like, that thing might get taken away and I'll have to do something else. What I'm thinking about and pondering is what else can I do? can do this. Like, I like doing this. I like having guests on the show. I like doing sort of podcast things. I like theorizing and whatnot. But there's the monetization thing hasn't done a whole lot. And plus Google makes it like trying to extract money from that AdSense thing is like it's not a like, oh, here you go, here's the money stuffs you made, here, have it. It's not like that. It's a painful extraction process. There's not enough for it to be anything anyway. I'm gonna give, if it does get out, I'm giving it to Levette. If I do manage to extract this, whatever is in there, like $150 or something, $160 over 5 months of having you guys be bothered by clicking on don't want to watch this commercial after 5 seconds. If I do manage to get that out, it's going to Levette, because it's not worth it for me to even do it, to have the possibility after you press all the buttons and sign all the forms and do all the verification processes a billion times and all of this stuff, and then finally some sort of check gets sent somehow. It's not worth it because it's not enough. $150 for 5 months of all of this stuff that I put out, right? That has no correlation with if you were to put a value on it, if I were to put a value on it, I would say, like, I'm helping the people, I'm getting out there in the community, I'm having shows, I'm doing all these things. And, I should be paying like a living wage for it somehow. But I know, this has not been fully recognized and established as a job somehow. So it's not given that. So me somehow making money off of doing this with this particular platform seems unlikely. I mean, I've been on this thing for 2 years. And the numbers are played with or something, shows now have 100 and something views versus they would have, 300, 400, 500, even in the beginning when I first started. So like the numbers just don't make any sense whatsoever. It's nothing. Like it's almost, it's a silly thing. I'm saying it's a very silly thing, whatever it is. It's not worth very much of my, like, what is this? What is this? How is it? Why is it? And I don't do very much of that. If it did become a thing somehow that paid me enough to live, where I didn't have to sit on my ass for 8 hours every day or whatever, then I would do it. But I'm not in control of all of that stuff, and I don't bother about it. So I'm considering the other options, and I don't know what the other options are. I don't know. I have no clue. Walk into the metal forest and say, hi, I'm Joe Smith. Give me money. I could do that. I would prefer, we want to go build a tree house in the woods and like live there somehow, but I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. I do know that for me personally, and this is kind of the amazing part about it, with all of everything I've done my entire life with money, the thing always stays like at or around 0. The leakage is about the same as the input somehow. And I don't have lots of things. I have, a couple things. I have half of this car, apparently, that's what they say. I have a computer, I have some toys. I buy some bullshit that I don't need, like I buy alcohol, I buy snus, I buy nicotine. Stuff that I don't theoretically need. So maybe if I didn't do all of those sort of vices, maybe the storage facility for my energy that I've accumulated would hold more of it. But I seem to be bad about that sort of thing because it always holds just around a little bit above 0. And I don't think I'm unique in this respect as far as your average American, because angst is profitable. Somehow, like if you're happy and they were talking about it in the show. They were like, God forbid I enjoy my present moment, right? God forbid I enjoy my present moment. That's all of consumerism. Duncan's like, you know, I dare you to tweet, everything's okay. Like, the world's fine. It's not ending. It's not Armageddon. It doesn't sell Twinkies. So that, you know, that sort of thing is discouraged. And I see it, like, I just see it. I know what it is. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to fix it. I wouldn't know how to fix it if I tried. I do know that most people are some sort of miserably going through their routines every single day. The girl that I dropped off at her work, you know, she works in the cloud, Amazon Web Services. She's like, I was like, are you doing anything exciting today? She said, I'm just going to work. But, you know, I'm excited about after work because, you know, we're going to have like an early holiday thing. Or, you know, I can go home and do whatever. People go to work so they can get off of work. They're not going to work because they want to go to work. But then the mind gets caught in this cyclical sort of like angst prevention mechanism, which actually brings more angst. So it's like a perennial problem of how to be a being in the system without, and being able to enjoy your moment. Like, is it okay if I can enjoy my present moment? Is that all right? Like, I can just sit here and be? Is that okay? I don't know. On some part of the show, there was something about a guy throwing an elderly person into a ditch fire. Somehow. And it was very funny. And that theme, that thread interwove, you know, the rest of the conversation. It's a ranty kind of a day. It's like foggy. The sun's not out. I heard some Harvard whatchamacallits or whatever are trying to hide the sun. I don't know if this is an onion.com report or fake news or alternate facts or whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't know what these people are doing. I don't know why they're doing it. Why is anybody doing anything? Why aren't people just like walking to the beach and like swimming? Everybody. It's very strange to me. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway. What else? I gotta finish that show. That show is good for my soul. Duncan Trussell is good for the soul. And I haven't listened to him forever. He's just a beautiful guy. So what to do? Do you guys have any advice for me? What should I do? How do I extract money from this thing and stay sane? Or do I just stop extracting money? Just go on go do your things over there. I don't just, you know? What to do? Should I go back to college? Make my dad ecstatic. Dad ecstatic. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe this is it. I don't know. Static. But you need money to go back to school. How do I get this job, sir? Well, you need experience. How do I get experience, sir? Well, you need a job. Oh! How long should we do this, sir? Forever! Oh God, no, please not forever. We gotta play at some point, you guys. We gotta just go and play. We were walking yesterday, we saw a tree that was dripping. The tree was like dripping itself down onto other parts of itself. Actually. And I wanted to take a picture of it, and then Andrea's like, you know, you don't need to do that. You can look at the tree and enjoy the tree. You don't need to reproduce the tree inside of an electronic device, actually. That's not a requirement. I was like, what? And I didn't have my cell phone anyway. Oh God. I don't know what these people are doing. I didn't have my cell phone anyway. Couldn't have done it. I took a mind picture. It's in the ocean. I'm pulling it out for you guys to look at it now, right? Like the tree was dripping on itself. So. Oh yeah, and we watched, pigeons. Pigeons and seagulls. All kinds of drama was going on, some of them were doing mating dances. There was, we saw this group of pigeons that were just like, it was like a unit of pigeon, like 5-7 feet wide, just circle. And they were all just like next to each other eating something. I didn't even know what they're eating, but they're about 3 feet away from them was a fully flat pigeon on the grass. And I was like, wait, pigeons weigh like 1/10 of an ounce. This could not have been the results of a pigeon stampede. But I don't see how something could have run it over, because the grass is not for cars and bikes and whatnot. So like, that was just a mystery to me. Like, or did someone just like have a big flat foot and they're just like, this pigeon needs to be flat? Like I don't know how that happens. And the pigeons in their little huddle, in their little football huddle thing, eating seeds or whatever, they didn't even, I know they knew that there was a flat pigeon 3 feet away, but they didn't say anything about it, not to me at least. They weren't like doing funeral services or anything. They were just huddled around eating their seeds. And every single pigeon in that huddle knew everything that was going on around it. I was talking about the huddle while I was next to the huddle, and I was like, yeah, the huddle knows what I'm doing, and I gesticulated wildly with my hand. Not wildly, I just went like this. I was like, the huddle knows what I'm doing, and as I did that, the huddle went We're doing the square dance. We're doing the wavy dance, not the square dance. Not the angles. Angels, right? Not angles. Not sharp edges and corners. Not sharp record keeping. Be in your moment. Or be in the ocean. I don't care where you be. I like pigeons, I know that much. I don't know if I've accomplished a lot as far as my goal of like figuring out how to fill up that ever-emptying bank account thing. I don't know if I've done too much with regards to that, but I feel better now, somewhat. Like, everybody is struggling. Everybody is struggling. I know that. Everyone. The rich people are struggling. The poor people are struggling. There's not one person inside of this system who's not deluding themselves, who's not struggling. Sorry for all the double negatives. Dripping trees, they help somehow. Pigeons and seagulls help. Having a conversation with anybody around you rather than looking into this thing helps. And you can do it. Anybody can do it. It's not some like life-changing thing. It can be, but you're not going and fixing the world or anything like that. You're just doing something different. How can your day be different than it always has been? Can you introduce something interesting, something exciting? Can you help someone else? That's what Duncan was saying too, like that we forgot that we're the group. We're not an individual. I am not just me, the Gary persona, and all this is simply just not related to me. I am the same thing as all of it. But when we're sitting boxed out inside of our cloak, right, the personality thing that we're so obsessed about, then we forget that other humans exist. And if the other humans are having issues and troubles and sadnesses, well, guess what? We're focused on our own issues and troubles and sadnesses, so we can't go give them a hug. Right? Anyway, this is a long one. Thanks for hanging out if you made it this far. Please give me any helpful tips or ideas about the bank thing, like the money thing that wants stuff in it. Always wants things. Like, why does it need things in there all the time? Like, why can't it just chill out a bit, you know? So let me know some tips or whatever, or you can share your own adventures with, you know, that thing that wants stuff in it all the time that has your particular name attached to it. Share whatever you feel, whatever your heart feels like sharing, go ahead and share it. I will read it. Alright? Have fun in the ocean, or blowing water through your blowhole at seagulls, whichever you want. Bye bye.